Hello and welcome to the All Round Coaching podcast, episode number 62. I have had a little break, obviously. I did go away with Mel for 10 nights and I've come back with a stinking cold just after landing in the UK. So if I am sniffing or spluttering throughout this or I sound a little bit weird, that is why. And obviously it is nicer to be in the sun than come back to the rain. But I always enjoy doing these podcasts because obviously it's a little bit of information for you guys. It breaks things down and I can refer a lot of you back to these just so you actually do A, get some education, and B, get a little insight into how I coach and a little bit more direct approach, because I think at the minute with social media, obviously everybody's told a lot of different information and sometimes misinformation. People's biggest struggle, and it has been my struggle in the past as well. So with me only being 5'2", I'd always struggled to lose body fat. Now, after having some bloods done, obviously there's a few health markers that I need to bring up, but I think a lot of people neglect the basics that they actually need to do. So I will break this down and go into the sections, but a lot of people expect these fat loss results without the actual work. So I'll title this one, I'm Not Seeing Changes Kind of Crew. And this is just related to fat loss. Obviously, there is other goals out there, but I'm going to go over this one because it's a lot of people struggle as well. So I want to assess maybe some of the reasons as to why you're not losing fat. So if you're focused on fat loss, say you've probably never trained or you've not done much before, how much muscle do you actually have? Because a lot of people will just go off that scale weight and they end up just being maybe a smaller version of themselves, but not looking that much different. So how much muscle you actually have, and obviously from training, if you do train, that's going to determine how you look after actually losing any body fat. So keep that in mind. If you do not or have not trained and you don't have any muscle and you lose weight per se, say you're lighter on the scales, but you look the same, it's because your body shape isn't going to change if it hasn't got any muscle tissue to support that. Another factor is, and this is something I do with all my clients when they do check in, you're checking pictures, whether it's weekly or fortnightly at least by minimum. Make sure you're taking these, because I've heard it before, or I don't look any different, so I didn't take any pictures. And then 4, 5, 6 weeks pass and you're saying the same thing, but you physically cannot say that when you haven't taken any pictures. So make sure, I know a lot with my guys, obviously, whether they're online, hybrid or app access, I give everybody the opportunity and the chance and obviously the structure and the questions to make sure that they check in and they take pictures as well. The biggest factor and probably why a lot of people don't lose body fat sometimes is are they accurate with the calorie intake. Now, this isn't being accurate Monday to Thursday and then Friday, Saturday, Sunday, you think, fuck it, I'm not going to log calories, I'm not going to be mindful of what I'm eating and I'm just going to overeat. If you aren't accurate and you're constantly guessing, how can you know if you're in a deficit, which is to lose body fat, or if you're maintaining, which is obviously going to maintain your weight, or if you're in a surplus, which is going to see you probably gain weight. So if you aren't accurate with your calories, how can you know if you're going to lose body fat? So a good way to do this, track your calories, weigh your food. If you are having meals that are scannable, you can just scan them and it's already put in for you there. It's going to take at least, not even 5 minutes. If you do a whole day, it'll take a few minutes, and obviously it's going to save years of frustration if you just get a little bit more accurate, and it does give you good nutritional awareness as well. So if you think about logging your calories, see it as a little menu, and that is going to take a lot of the stress away. Not just taking into consideration, obviously, calorie intake as well, but you're actually consistent with it. So we've got your calorie number. Are you consistent? Or are you doing that weekend warrior where you go Monday to Thursday or a push Monday to Friday, and the weekend you think, I deserve a break, and then you're taking a break from your health and fitness and your goals, you're going into fuck it mode, Monday comes and you're back to square one. And this is a vicious cycle, because I was guilty of this years ago as well. I'd be wondering, I've trained for 21 years now, and then sat thinking, well, why am I not losing body fat? Why do I not look different? Because I was eating more than what my body needed. So you need to be consistent with your calorie intake. It isn't just set a number on paper. Are you actually consistent with it? And at least a minimum of 30 days. If nothing changes after 30 days and you've been absolutely consistent, bob on, accurate and honest with yourself, then yes, you can start and pull calories down. And it doesn't have to be a massive amount. A 10% deficit is going to be more sustainable, and there might be times where you can do a little bit more of an aggressive approach, which I might do with some clients at times as well. Another factor that you could think of is, are you actually active away from exercise? A lot of people just associate the results as I'll go to the gym and then do absolutely fuck all when I've left the gym. They don't go for a walk, they're not moving about, they're sat at the desk, they haven't got any activity in after that session. Some people I've had in the past, they haven't moved any more than 1,000 steps per day. Now, if we look at it from a health perspective, people should be moving at least 6,000 to 8,000 steps per day. And this isn't to say just go for a walk. Your actual general movement around the house, whether you're getting up, sitting down, moving about, actually being active. And for those that do have a desk job, I am aware this is a little bit harder, but I'm the similar when I'm doing online check-ins or when I'm on my phone. I've got a walking pad, so create an environment that can help with that. There is no excuse for people not to move. Like, granted, the weather is shit, or you might not always be able to leave your house. I would always advocate at least one walk per day where you're getting some daylight in, just to help with your energy levels and focus, because obviously we do need vitamin D, which is going to help with that. If you obviously can't get out more than once, this is where your treadmills or your walking pads can come in handy as well. So don't just think, oh, I need to get a walking pad straight away. Get outside. If you do struggle with that, because obviously I have a desk job, then the walking pads can be handy. So just moving away, obviously, from the movement side of things and going a little bit more back to nutrition. This is a minefield, and it's why I got my qualification in being a nutritionist, because all the insights into it, and like so many people, like, it frustrates me, overcomplicate it. They'll remove carbs, they think they have to fast, they think they have to remove sugars, they avoid seed oils, anything they can think of. They demonise foods, they remove energy drinks thinking that's going to kill you. And one factor that they don't think of is improving the food quality. So yes, more whole foods are going to help you, and they do support body composition. So I always say to people, 80% whole foods, 20% fun. It isn't to say you can't have any processed foods. And I know at the minute there's this hype around ultra processed. Like, yes, our diet should be made up of more whole foods, eating things that have been grown or killed, i.e. having some chicken and some vegetables, fruits, etc., as opposed to just eating out and having takeaway food. So your food quality is going to dictate your body composition and obviously your success with fat loss. If you spend most of your time having takeaways, low quality food, and then having more processed foods, then this is going to slow, if not inhibit, your fat loss goals. In this as well, and I think this is what infuriates me more about nutrition, is people never ever consider their alcohol intake. So you're all out there demonising carbs, sugars, and energy drinks, but you're drinking a carcinogenic, and some people do drink daily, if not 3 days a week. And obviously they don't see it as bad. They say, oh, I only have one or two. That one or two is staying in your system, and obviously it does have a knock-on effect for 8 days. Not only does it kill your brain cells, it isn't healthy. It is the one and only toxin that is going to decrease your health, but it's one that people do. Not to say to never drink, but people need to consider their alcohol intake and how much they do actually drink. I'm not saying don't drink. I'm not anti-drink. Obviously, it's impacted my life negatively, and I still drink a little bit, but it's become less and less. It does impact your fat loss goals. If your body's caning 8 pints on a weekend, you're looking over 1,000 calories there. For some people, this is their daily intake, and they're already having that plus the food choices around it. If you've been out for a drink, I can guarantee your food quality drops, your inhibitions drop, your activity levels the day after drop, your recovery slows down, your sleep quality's fucked, and so on. So alcohol will impact everything negatively. It doesn't support any health goals. Yes, you can still drink if you enjoy a drink, but you have to make sure you factor it in, and you have to be honest and open to think, well, this is going to inhibit my goals or slow it down. So just to be a little bit more honest with yourself there, and accounting for them calories that you do drink in alcohol as well. Obviously, it is empty calories. This means there's no nutrients within it, and it obviously isn't going to support any goals or help. If your body's having alcohol calories, it's going to prioritise getting rid of them, obviously, than getting rid of any fat. Just in line with that, obviously, sleep quality as well. So how much sleep people are actually getting. Some people have an awful sleep routine where their eating window actually ends up being bigger. So they end up eating more, they have more snacks, they end up feeling tired. So they reach for the more energy dense foods, which is your carbs and your sugars, just to get their body saying, give me some energy. And that's the foods to go for. So it's not necessarily the food groups that are getting people overweight or gaining body fat. It's because they're eating more than they actually need anyway. So your sleep quality is going to impact your fat loss results. The times you go to bed, the times you wake up, if you're getting good sleep, if it's broken, And obviously, like I've said, alcohol does impact that as well. This goes in line with your recovery. If you aren't sleeping, then your recovery is going to be fucked. You're going to be tired. You're not going to want to train. You're not going to want to eat well. And a lot of your decisions are based on this as well. So you can see why fat loss, yes, it's a simple goal, but all the actions around it are actually quite hard. And it takes all of the factors that I am going to speak about to get them in line. And obviously, this is building habits over a long period. It isn't just wake up, eat a few less calories, and then bang, you've got your results. Everything needs to be taken into consideration. And obviously, this is what I help clients with. So it isn't, like I've always said, it's not just me giving you an exercise plan and calories and saying off you go. Like, I have to help educate clients and help build their habits over time to see how I can get them results and why they haven't got results before. So this is more than just join someone for a few weeks and then off you fuck. Like, I work with clients on a long-term basis because I want to educate them and I want them to sustain the results. Another factor that I've picked up, and especially speaking to some of my guys as well when they do check in, our emotions can dictate our fat loss as well. So are you using food and alcohol to cope? Whether you're feeling stressed, sad, or you might be celebrating, it could be the other emotions, not always negative. Are you using those factors? And obviously they're going to inhibit your fat loss as well. So it is more just like your fat loss isn't just calories. It's more than calories, and obviously exercise is a small part. So if we go through all of the above: emotions, recovery, stress, sleep quality, alcohol intake, food quality, consistency with calories, accuracy with calories, and whether you're actually tracking your progress through pictures, this is going to see you if you are able to not only get to your fat loss goal, but how you're going to get there, manage it and measure it. If you aren't doing any of this, then it is going to be a vicious cycle and you are just spinning your wheels. So your honesty and consistency will have a greater impact, and obviously a willingness to apply yourself for longer periods. Now, I'm not saying after 30 days you're going to look absolutely amazing. It can take some people longer. Obviously, your genetics do play a role, but your exercise and nutrition are going to trump the genetics anyway. So we can use that as an excuse, or we can just fucking work a little bit harder. Apologies for sniffing because I am not well, but I wanted to get this out there because obviously I do think it's useful information. One thing I will say to people: if the goal requires more focus and effort, then sometimes compromise will have to be taken into account. Compromise might be reducing the alcohol intake by 3 to 4 drinks if you have 6 per week, or it could be not going out 3 times and only going out twice. So that's a little bit of compromise. If the goal in your physique is of greater importance, i.e. you actually want to achieve your goal, you want to lose fat, you want to look leaner, and you want to have that toned look, then there is going to have to be some sacrifice. So for me, an example, if I want to get lean, it is so hard for me to do it. It's frustrating at times, but I have done it before and I will do it again. I have to diet for a little bit longer and I have to sacrifice that I can't eat out as much and I can't drink. And I think some people miss this, like, they think that they deserve the grade A results, but they aren't considering half of what I've mentioned above, like everything I've just said there, and they aren't willing to put the work in. So if you are struggling with your fat loss goals, this is something that we can discuss as well. And one thing I will say is I won't just work with people in person, do a session and then send you off on your way. For me to get you to your goal, it's the education, it's the communication, it's the honesty, it's the accuracy, and it's the accountability that will get you there. Not an odd session with a PT where they just send you on your way. Everything I do is structured, and I do care about what I do and I care about the individual. So if you are looking for someone that's more remote, a little bit of online coaching, some guidance, some structure, and you actually want to achieve your goals, then I'm probably the coach for you. If you want a PT, you just want to have a few sessions, learn how to train, then I'm probably not the coach for you. There might be someone else for that. If you have found this helpful, share the podcast to someone that might need it. Take away the points that I have